स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna is explaining how God manages brings the jiva to himself. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says, those who are constantly thinking of me, seeking me, offering themselves to me in every respect, to them I give buddhi yogam dadami, yena mam upayantiti, by which they come to me. They come to me. The way in which God brings, that is, whatever we do in activity, is telling to Vidyasagar. Vidyasagar is dipped in compassion for beings and serving others. But in and through this service and compassion, his consciousness must expand to go beyond the limits of activity to the eternal existence where it transcends all activity. And that cannot be attained through any activity because it is akrita, nastyakrita kritena, nasti akritaha kritena. Through action, you cannot get actionless entity. All that is in the world are perishable. Whatever you see, whatever is there exists because what is created has to be destroyed. The whole universe dissolves back in the absolute to again remanifest. This dissolution and again evolution. The cycle continues. It has to totally become energy and dissolve in the pure consciousness to appear again. So there is a cyclic movement, and whatever is within this cycle is perishable. Whatever appears and disappears. And each time we do any action, we are insisting that we are body. When we go beyond activity or leave the activity to happen by itself in the bodily existence and separate myself, identity with it, then I will see the inner spiritual awakening is there. Spiritual identity we get with which we can identify with God, Brahmasmi, or any experience that we have to get, we can get. But we can't get through activity. The activity is to make us come out of tamas. We are jivas when come, they are in great tamas identified with the body because body is tamas. So the more you identify with body, you'll be more in tamas. Tamas means bodily, that tamas, matter, to be like matter, and to have bodily demands in their wild form, like tivra krodha, tivra kama, tivra lobha, because intensely body demands all this as matter. So this is tamas, and rajas activity is necessary to overcome tamas. And the activity must be such that not make me involved in the activity and keep running, but make me shanta and go beyond. The activity should not end in the activity itself, must be linked to the sattva. To enter into sattva, the activity that I need is compassion and love. If it is desire fulfillment, it remains there and slowly it gets back to the tamasic state. Instead, I have to not work for my own ends, but I must work for the welfare of others. With love and compassion, this activity makes me to sattva. As I reach to the sattva, my bodily awareness slowly starts retreating. I become more and more spirit. I become more and more Ananda Swarupa, and there is evolution. I'll be going beyond activity and into the realm of where there is no activity, there is no time and space, beyond time and space, and I see there is spiritual ultimate, the whole. I remain apart as if till I totally identify with it. So this evolutionary process, in the evolutionary process, that's why Sri Ramakrishna says you are doing good to the world is very good. Why very good? Because it is making you, taking you beyond activity. Activity must be to go beyond activity. So when the activity is done for the sake of others, or as love for God, or love for humanity, or love for beings, love for nature, then it is evolutionary process. It is taking you beyond the activity to absolute and on the other side, and your own existence, individual existence, beyond the bodily levels to the atmic understanding. So Sri Ramakrishna says here, the activities you are engaged in are good. It is very good if you can perform them in a selfless spirit, renouncing egotism. That is the main purpose. Egotism, if it is there, again it remains in the rajas state and slowly steps to the tamasic state, giving up the idea that you are doer. In these two things we need is, one is compassion and love objectively, and subjectively elimination of ego. Oh, I am doer, that ego should not come. I am an instrument in the hand of God. God has blessed me with the capacity and a mind to serve others. Mind alone is insufficient. Capacity also must be there, and God must make it convenient. Some people have compassion for others, but they don't have means to serve. And somebody have means and compassion also, they don't have time to serve. From morning time till night, if they are working for wealth or money, and that they want to use for others also, they have no time to spare for others. So God has blessed us with all the requirements to serve others. So giving up the ego means being an instrument in the hand of God, takes you to sattva. Seeing compassion and love in others take you to sattva. And sattva is very close to reality. It makes you transcend the entire existence and enter into the realm beyond. Through such action, one develops love and devotion to God, heart awakens, and ultimately realizes God. See, simple steps. In Bhakti Yoga, Krishna says, you see, if you cannot meditate, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do. Alternate goes on giving. Last he says, you do this much that you do, offer all things that you do to me. Whatever you do, offer it to me. Tyaga. The more you come to love God, the less you'll be inclined to perform action, because here it is not out of dislike, it is out of evolution, growth. The growth makes you less inclined to do action, because your inner awareness, inner illumination of your Atmic existence, which is free from activity, is developing. Just like a fetus develops in the womb of a mother, here it develops. It develops inner illumination. That inner illumination is so bright, awareness of God is so bright, the goal to reach is so bright that you cannot indulge in the activity. Just like a person who is sick, or a person who is mad, or a person who is extremely indulged in something, he cannot do action. Like that, this person is also unable to do much activities, and whatever small activities he is invested with, he will do and operate in his own way. So it is not because of dislike. Dislike or lethargy may make me, laziness may make me stay away from action. But here it is illumination within. From the illumination that I am Atman, illumination, God's presence, illumination, makes him less inclined. Will be less inclined to perform action. When the daughter-in-law is with child, her mother-in-law gives her less work to do. As goes the time, she is given less and less work. When the time of delivery nears, she is not allowed to do any work at all, lest it should hurt the child or cause difficulty at the time of birth. So, how the activities are reduced and the way is made clear to go along the path. You see in saints' life, God coming in some way or making some people move towards that person and take the responsibilities. Some person comes in your life, he says, please give me a little job, I am satisfied with meager food, I will look after this business. And we will not know it is God sent. And you see that you accept him, give him a place, give him a little food, and he is managing the whole business or the activity or the earnings that you are getting. So somebody, it need not be your work is reduced in a particular way. It can be somebody coming and assisting, somebody taking the responsibility, somebody willfully taking up the whole project and making you free from activity little by little. By these philanthropic activities, you are really doing good to yourself. We think we are doing good to others, trying to correct the world, we correct ourselves. Trying to change others, we change ourselves. Trying to make others realize God, we realize God ourselves. If you can do them disinterestedly, your mind will become pure and you will develop love of God. If you do them disinterestedly, without personal interest. Disinterested means I don't have personal anything, any intention, personal intention behind, except working for the welfare of others. Unless you do it, if you can do it, then disinterestedly, your mind becomes pure and will develop love of God. To do it disinterestedly is most important part. I should not have any intention, good or bad intention, just out of love, just out of concern, just out of dedication. Sacrifice, it is part of sacrifice. It should, then your mind become pure and you develop love of God. As soon as you have that love, you will realize Him. Philanthropic activities, that is, serving others, doing good to others, will ultimately, it is meant for purification. Mind will become pure. And when mind becomes pure, you will develop love of God. The pure at heart, when they do activities, they are a kind of paripurnata will be there and a joy of serving. This joy of serving others, helping others, is not the mental joy. It is not the physical joy also. It is pure joy of the inner self. It is experience whenever you see, Vireshwaranji Maharaj and Gurudev used to tell us, see, you need not wait for the results when you serve others. Serving the others itself will give you so much of joy and peace instantly. Instantly it will give you. Enter and see. He used to tell the youngsters, after you finish your graduation, go to the villages somewhere where there is need. Go in a small group and serve. Stay there for 2 years. Beg your food, doesn't matter. But there's 2 years after your graduation. Serve the people. And we don't never ask what I get in return. Why should I do? Do it and see. The joy you get, the relief you get, the confidence that you develop in your heart, and the blessing of so many people upon you. What will be your state? You just imagine. It gives instantly, you need not wait for the results. The moment you serve, while serving itself, you will be getting the inner joy released. See, in case of any kind of joy, I eat something and I get a joy, or I hear a song, I get joy. It is joy of the different type. Serving others and all, it gives, you need not wait for. That itself gives you joy. That itself fills your heart with peace. So, our Gurudev is to tell, immediately go, enter and see, go to the place where there is need. Especially is to tell the youngsters after finishing graduation, a small group, 3 or 4 of you, join together and go to a remote village, live with them for 2 years. Whatever services you can do, even if door-to-door services, cleaning the village, or do anything, by that instantly, like IV, you will see that joy is spurting out, joy is flowing out in torrents. You need not, today I did, suppose you are cultivating crop, you are putting seed now, after 3 months it is going to give you yield. You have to wait for 3 months. No, here you need not wait also. You will see the moment you start serving and working, running about for others, you see that joy is flowing out from within. So this joy of activities is not only this joy remains a joy, but makes you transcend the physical joys and go beyond. So God goes on decreasing the work like a woman who is on the family way. Mother-in-law goes on reducing her activities as she nears the time of delivery. If you can do them disinterestedly, your mind becomes pure and you develop love of God. As soon as you have that love of God, you will realize Him. The love is the bridge across which you reach God. Love is, there is, I am human with bodily existence. There is the Divine Mother, there is God, which is on the other side, which is spiritual, full. I am a part as if. And what will make me reach Him? I have to transcend the entire nature and go beyond to reach that. So there are three channels in our existence. One is the intellectual channel leading to the absolute, Jnana Marga, which another one is heart, love, and thirdly one is Vak, speech. Through japa you can reach, through dhyana you can reach, and through this kind of activities which lead ultimately to realization. Mind will become pure and you develop love of God. As soon as you have that love, you will realize Him. Man cannot really help the world. God alone does that. He who has created the sun and moon, who has put love for their children in parents' hearts, endowed noble souls with compassion, and holy men and devotees with divine love. How clearly Sri Ramakrishna is telling you, see, actually the Chaitanic existence and material existence. We have two parts, the spiritual existence and bodily existence. When the spiritual existence and bodily existence come together, the ego comes out from somewhere and says, I am doing, I am sleeping. The ego itself doesn't have a basis. Ego itself is a false entity and it wants to do so many things. And because of its action, ego-bound action, I am the doer. It becomes in such a way that his existence gets bound. The ego is thinking that it is he who is doing. The doer is God ultimately. If ego dissolves, immediately he sees he is just an instrument in the hand of God. All jivas are nothing but simple instruments in the God alone is a doer comes to be known only when ego dissolves, when humility dawns, and when in humility we are able to see the reality. Otherwise, we will not be able to see reality. Ego covers our vision. Ego insists on the worldly existence and on the body, at the bodily level. It keeps us at bodily level. Spiritual existence. I have a spiritual existence. I am awake to the spiritual existence. I have to grow. The less ego I am more near to the reality. And then he sees when the ego subsides, he understands God is the doer. I am nobody, I am nobody. Man cannot really help the world. Another place Sri Ramakrishna asks, is world a small thing that you can transform or change or remove? It is just a past, huge past, and an unknown power is governing it. And everything is going on so smooth. If you find any defect or if you have any complaint, it is your unfulfilled existence. When you get fulfillment, you see the whole world in a different perspective, entirely as divine, as a divine play going on. But when you are in the present state, you will feel all this is happening some way, some way. Then he who has created sun and moon, who has put love in the hearts of the parents, endowed noble men with compassion, and holy men and devotees with divine love. The man who works for others without any selfish motive really does good to himself. God keeps compassion in the heart of a jiva to serve others for its own evolution also and for the welfare of the society also. It is like a fulcrum. If you press one below, the other comes up. And here we see the ego goes down and the awareness of God's doership and my agency comes into picture. There is gold buried in your heart, but you are not aware of it. What all you need is within yourself, and nature is embedded in you, all the power and things that you need to do. To attain God, whatever is necessary, vairagya, prema, seva, all these instruments to do that and achieve it are within you. The gold is buried in your heart, but it is not you, but you are not aware of it. It is covered with a thin layer of clay. Once you are aware of it, all these activities of yours will lessen. After the birth of her child, the daughter-in-law in the family busies herself with it alone. Everything she does is only for the child. The mother-in-law, her mother-in-law, does not let her do any household duties. See how Sri Ramakrishna is building the philosophy. There is gold buried in your heart, but you are not aware of it. It's covered with a thin layer of clay. It has become opaque. The karmic load makes it opaque. The opaqueness that we see within is the one is layer of ignorance. That I don't know who am I don't know what is this world, I don't know what is God. So that is the layer of ignorance covering, and I am that. Being myself the ocean of bliss, being myself one with the Lord of the universe. I do not know, I have lost my real identity. I have acquired an identity which identifies with the body. So there is cover of ignorance on my soul, and I have indulged myself in lot of activities of selfishness and desire. The activities had brought a cover of karmic load over me. It's also blinding my eyes. There is another force, the vasanas that I have acquired, the tendencies that I have created within myself. So that also superimposes my existence. My heart is covered and the inner light is not able to come. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu